All right, we are with Jimmy Williams and two of his baseball players with the DC Grays. They are Drew Reid and Lamar Briggs. Drew is from Harvard University and Lamar is from Jackson State. So we got two guys who are from different parts of baseball. You're playing in the Ivy League, Jackson State, HBCU. So talk, guys, about how you started in baseball and maybe talk a little bit about some of your influences.
Who's going first? So I grew up in Boston, born a big Red Sox fan, born into a big Red Sox family. I'd say, for one, my parents, my dad, definitely brought me in. It's actually a funny story. I had a lot of fads when I was younger. One of them was Robbie Knievel, Evel Knievel's son. And I remember there was this video that my dad taped of Robbie Knievel jumping the Grand Canyon, and watched that until the tape didn't work anymore, or it almost didn't work anymore. And then he took that tape and recorded the 1999 All-Star game at Fenway Park. And I started watching the tape all the way through and fell in love with baseball. And that's sort of how it happened. I'd say as a younger baseball player, when I really started picking it up, Lamar and Derek Jeter, the two big shortstops of the day, along with Alex Rodriguez, of course. But just watching those guys, watching them really grow as baseball players, it kind of just inspired me to follow in their footsteps.
And that was the position of your choice, or you kind of fell into that position?
Definitely the position of my choice since I was young. I used to catch when I was younger. I used to pitch a little bit. Obviously, pitching sometimes it just limits you with arm troubles, but had always had a love for shortstop and kind of carried that.
All right, Lamar.
I grew up in sports family. Both of my parents, they grew up playing sports, so they love just being out around it. So when I was younger, my mom and dad just put me in all the recreational sports, so I ended up playing baseball. And I ended up loving baseball more than anything, so I stuck with it. I ended up playing basketball and football throughout my middle school and high school career, but I ended up just loving baseball more than the two other sports.
What do you think was the reason why you fell into baseball?
Honestly, you don't really see too many African-American kids playing it anymore, and I really wanted to just break that mold. And then once I got old enough to really understand the game and seeing the game inside of the game, I was like, yeah, I want to do this for the rest of my life. So
we're going to talk to you guys about playing with the DC Grays, but first let's talk about your colleges that you chose to play for. You're at Harvard, which is normally an academic school, but you're at Harvard playing baseball.
Yeah. So for me, I had a couple, probably like Lamar did. I know a little bit of his path, but we had a couple different schools that we could have chosen. Me being from Boston, I felt like I kind of wanted to go home, have a good amount of family in the area, family, friends, people that I look up to, people that are role models to me. So I was looking at schools down south and then Harvard. Kind of just came in late in the picture. And I was kind of surprised. I went up for an official visit, went up for a baseball camp, absolutely loved it over there. And I think there's just a misconception about Harvard students that we're one-dimensional, that we're all academic, and that's really not what the school is looking for, not what the school is. I'd say that I can't remember the statistic, but I think it's 1 in 5 or 6 people is an athlete. And I think the athlete community is really pretty strong, and it's something that I personally love about the school. So.
And what about you, Lamar, going to Jackson State?
Well,
because of Walter Payton, right? Is that?
Well, honestly, talking about my path of getting to Jackson State, I always tell people about the Temple story. I was originally going to Temple University in Philadelphia, but they ended up cutting the program. But after that happened, and Jackson State found me, Coach Crenshaw, the recruiting coordinator down there, he found me. I went on my visit, and they had just came off of winning the SWAC championship. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, they're a winning program, and I want to win. So that really got me down there. So.
All right, and Jimmy, talk about getting these guys on the DC Grays roster. I mean, how difficult is that? You got guys coming from all over the country playing for the DC Grays.
Yes, this team is made up of players all over the country, and basically we're supposed to help out with recruiting, but the general manager, Mr. Scott, he did a lot of the legwork on that. But I think in the future, Coach Terry is going to be trying to do a little bit more recruiting, helping out and reaching out to players around the country. And so I inherited these guys, but I had Drew last year, and I was so glad that he came back to the team this year, which I'm hoping that Lamar comes back next year, because they're here to make progress and improve and go on. Yeah.
Talk about, getting these guys on the Grays, which is one of the few teams in the Cal Ripken League, Collegiate League, that has quite a few African American players.
Yes, that's true. Since we're connected with the Nationals, our job is one of the things we're trying to do is help with baseball in the area, in the urban area, and local communities, and trying to get blacks to really enjoy baseball and want to play baseball. And the Nationals doing a great job, and the Grays we are doing that. That's what we have to do. Matter of fact, we had a clinic today, I believe. And so we're working with all the kids in the neighborhood and from afar to try to get them to love this game of baseball and stay with it.
And it's a great ballpark over there.
Oh,
right?
it's a great field, and you could get spoiled coming to this field. You can really get spoiled.
What's the address of that if people want to get over there to see you guys? And is there a website that they can go on to?
DCGrays.com. It shows where we're located. I think it's Ely Place, Southeast.
3675 Eli Place,
Yeah.
Southeast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right next to the Fort DuPont skating rink.
From Sousa Middle School, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I believe that's.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is it Sousa?
So you're supposed to know this.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I know this is a great feeling for you to help out these college players. You came from DC yourself.
Yes.
And how does that make you feel to be helping these guys out and trying to get baseball back big again in DC?
Oh, the reward is just so great, and if you can help, like you hear people say, if I could just help one, I don't want to just help one. I want to help many, and I just like to pass on my experiences, because I came through as a high school player. I didn't go to college, and now I preach college. So that's one thing different about myself. I was just preaching playing baseball. And now I'm preaching, go to school and play baseball, and then you go from there. The reward to get a guy to do what he needs to do and enjoy life and go on and have a choice, and getting professional people to want you, that's the main thing. If you can get one person to like you, their job is done. The opportunity is what you're trying to get the college players to get. That's what it's all about, getting the opportunity to play. And a lot of guys just don't get the opportunity.
You guys might have professional aspirations, but what are the other benefits of playing collegiate baseball?
Discipline, for one. D1 baseball is no joke. Doesn't matter where you go. When you're playing 45 to 60, 70 games.
Miss a lot of classes,
yeah.
right?
Miss some classes. So it's, I don't know, it's a daily grind. There will be days when you miss class, when it doesn't seem like you have time to get what you need to get done. And you need to be able to carve out time, know like, hey, I have to be at the field 3 hours before the game for BP, for in and out, for everything. I need to set aside this hour and a half to get a little work done. It may be early in the morning, but I know I need to do this. So it definitely teaches discipline.
Time management.
Responsibility and time management.
Time management. And I don't know. I do not know how they do it, especially the ones that work.
Yeah.
I have in junior college. We have guys that are going to school playing baseball and working.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how they do it.
You guys aren't able to work though, because you're at D1 schools.
I mean, you take up any part-time job you can.
But you,
I don't want
you
to
won't tell the NCAA.
But it's kind of tough, though. It's kind of tough.
work study.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
Yeah. And talk about the hardest thing about playing baseball to you. What is, as far as not just from the aspect of time management and all that, but just the hardest thing about, is it hitting? Is it base running? Is it fielding, throwing? What is the hardest thing for you?
Hitting. Hitting is
hitting.
definitely the hardest thing
Okay.
about the game.
And do you guys, I mean, how do you work on that? I mean, did you study hitting?
You try to watch anything, read anything you can get your hands on. So,
daily practice.
Yeah.
Remember, somebody told me to take 50 swings a day
yeah.
for about a
I used to
year.
do that.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching baseball most nights, and you don't realize you're learning, but you're learning about different approaches, learning about just like different adjustments that hitters make. Then you're around people like Jimmy, people that have definitely
Get all that knowledge out of him.
daily stories.
Yeah.
You always get something new out
It's
of
really
him.
been great being around Coach.
Yeah.
Because he has a story, like stories for days, and it's great just to listen to him.
And I've been holding back.
Well, talk about what you would say to a young guy, this maybe 10 or 11. What kind of things what kind of tips would you give him? You know, just like Jimmy gives you guys tips.
I mean, you gotta love it because it's a game that somebody said like you're gonna get out 7 out of 10 times, and if you do that, you're gonna be a Hall of Famer. If you do that for your entire career. So, I mean, sometimes you need to deal with failures, but you know that's part of the game, and it's part of the reason why we love the game.
You can, like Yogi says, you can observe a lot of things by watching, you know, so you have to watch, look, and listen to what's going on. You got to try to take it in and decipher what you can use and what you can't use. You got to know your own strengths. You know, you got to know what you can do, what can be your thing. You can't try to hit home runs when you're not a home run hitter, and you just got to know what your strengths are. And sometimes a coach can help you with that, but I think you have to really know within yourself what kind of strengths and weaknesses you have, and work on those. You have to work on your strengths and your weaknesses. And a lot of guys only analyze. A lot of players, they only analyze when they're going bad. You know, so you got to analyze yourself when you're going good. That's what you got to do too.
There are some baseball players in the Major League Baseball who could have played football or basketball, such as Billy Hamilton with Cincinnati Reds. He's starting with Cincinnati, and he had a chance to get a scholarship in football, wide receiver at Mississippi State, and he chose not to. He is saying now that he's glad because he could be getting his head knocked off playing football, and he's playing baseball, starting, doing well, and he's thinking, hey, I might do this for the next 20 years. So talk about that. What would you say about that situation?
It's a good thing for the younger kids to play multiple sports growing up, especially it's a good thing for the scouts to see because it shows athleticism.
Yeah, and you played all 3 sports.
Yeah, I played basketball and football in high school, but my high school football coach, they wanted me to play football in college, but I had to shut that down.
Okay. And what about you?
I was football, baseball in high school, and I personally just like knew my passion pretty early on, knew I wanted to play baseball, so I didn't really field any offers. I was talking to my football coach earlier. He said that I had offers to a lot of the Ivy League and smaller D1 schools, but kind of just knew where I wanted to go.
Okay. What positions did you guys play?
I played linebacker.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And what'd you play, Drew?
I was a slot receiver.
Okay.
He's going to knock Billy Hamilton's head off.
He was one of those guys that Billy Hamilton didn't want to see. So what do you think about that, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, I love watching Deion Sanders. I love Jordan, the 2 Jordans, and who was the other one? Bo Jackson. And then you got way back in the day, Dave DeBusschere, who plays for the New York Knicks. And I always, when I hear people talking about two sports, I always want to see them play, just to see how it go. But the sports are now like year-round now. It's hard to do. But I think that's. You're really special if you can play two sports. I mean, you are really special.
At a high level.
At a very high level.
And I just like to see how they do it. I just want to see them do it.
And let's talk about getting HBCUs to bring baseball back. Can we do that? I mean, you are at an HBCU. You don't want to comment on that?
Yeah, I would love to see it back. Well, in the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you see a lot. You see it a lot down there. It's some pretty decent baseball too. But in other historically black college conferences like the MEAC and the CIAA, you don't really see it as much. Or if you do see a team, you don't really see them filled with African Americans. So I would really love to see it come back.
Jimmy, how can we do that? We got about 20 seconds.
Got to be encouraging, just like, I mean, here I'm thinking that it's going to come back because we got the Orioles and the Nationals. I'm thinking that's going to spur on at least this area, and you got. I think it starts with the grassroots now, with the coaches and what they're doing at the lower level, Boys and Girls Club and RBI and everything, and the coaches got to keep the game fun, because when they get around 14, that's when we lose them. So we got to keep them playing, and I know we stress winning probably too much at a young age. So if we can start stressing fundamentals instead of, fundamentals, having fun and learn the game mentally, I think the kids might get to like the game a little better. We know about the special guys that are going to be able to play, but we're trying to get some of those middle of the road kids that you might get one or two out of there, if we can get them to keep playing.
All right, and maybe get more Jimmy Williams out there coaching too, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thanks for having us.
And we got to get you guys back, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.